Hey folks, Simon here from Simon's Reviews. Today I'm going to be installing this Acer 2TB SSD drive into the PS5 Pro console. The console already has 2TB of internal storage, so this will effectively increase the storage from 2TB to 4TB in total. Now, a number of videos I have seen have shown how to do this, but don't really explain how to put everything back together again afterwards. So I'm going to go through the whole process with you. I hope it helps. Let's get into the tutorial. Okay, so I have the PS5 Pro in its horizontal position, and just to show you the orientation, we have the USB port and power button over here, and the PlayStation icons just up in this corner. So there are two panels. The larger panel, we will only remove this if we wanted to install the physical Blu-ray disc drive, but for today's purposes for installing an SSD, we only need to remove this smaller panel over here. Now the clip for this is around here, so this is where we need to lift. Only apply enough pressure to get the click. You don't want to damage the plastic clips, and then once you get the click, the panel will be removed. So let me just lift from over here. There we go, and off it comes. It can take a little bit of pressure, but like I say, as long as you apply it fairly, you're not going to damage anything. Let's pop that down to one side. Here we can see the bay enclosure where we are going to install our SSD. So let's go ahead and remove the screw. And here you can see we have the enclosure, and this is where the SSD is going to be connected, and we have the screw here which will need to be moved into position so that we can lock the drive down into the bay. So I'm just removing the small screw now at the back of the bay. Okay, so I've removed the screw. We also have this little piece of metal here which is going to support the drive. So we're going to pop that into the correct position. And then I have my drive here. So I'll just pull that out so I can access the connector. And I'm going to just click this down into place. Okay, that was really easy. And then we just need to screw this down here. And as you can see, my SSD is now firmly in place. We can simply now reinstall the cover. That slots in at an angle from this side, then pushes down into position, and then we can screw it back in. And all that's left to do now is to reinstall the main side panel. And this is where I think a lot of people struggle. So on the top up here, we have the three plastic clips, which as you can see are angled specifically to slot up here. So we need to put that in at a slight angle. You do need to line it up. Okay, once you've lined it up, it will feel quite secure in there, so that the only movement is up and down. Okay, from side to side, there's not really anything there. That's really important that you get that first movement, okay, so that you know that you've installed those clips correctly. This is where we need it to click, not here. This is just a support. So we'll rest it down into position. You can look down here if need be in order to line it up, but make sure, again, that this little clip here is correctly positioned over where it needs to go into, and then you can just click it down. There it is. Once you get that click, the panel has been secured, okay? I know a lot of people have struggled with that, but it is that simple. If you are struggling, then something isn't lining up correctly. Either the clip's up here or the actual clip that clicks in down here. Make sure it's in that small hole. And folks, there we have it. The SSD all nicely installed, good to go. When we turn the PS5 Pro on for its next boot up, it will detect that drive, ask us to format it, and then in the options we can select whether we want to install games directly onto the console internal storage or onto the internal SSD we've just put in ourselves. So hopefully the video has helped, and I'll see you next time.